And that's it. We are here. And we're here with Paula. Paula is the executive director of the NCH Safe and Healthy Children's Coalition. She's on the board of the National Drowning Prevention Alliance. She's worked in public health and safety for a long time, despite the fact that she's only at least 22 years old, probably. It's weird because you have like 15 years of experience, but you're clearly 23. So that's super strange. And she's also now, I don't know if I said this already, on the board of the NDPA, which I used to be on as well. That's super exciting. I'm sorry that we miss each other. And
yes.
I think you may have taken my spot, actually, which is kind of cool.
Maybe I did. I think I did. You step down and I step up.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yes. That's kind of cool.
No, not really. I wish that you still were there.
Well, if anyone is going to take my spot, you're a great choice. So that's awesome. And we met at the NDPA, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think the one when it was hosted in Orlando a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And then, of course, through social media and Paul DeMello.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Paul DeMello, I think, was a big part because you work with him a lot over there, right?
Yes. He comes to our drowning prevention coalition meetings, and every time that we have a family that needs a fence, we always refer, to you guys.
Nice. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Paul DeMello started the Just Against Children Drowning nonprofit after his two twins fatally drowned in a swimming pool. They were not at his home at the time, and they both drowned. They were being supervised by somebody else. And someone who, by the way, didn't check the pool first. I think that's one of the major lessons there. And he believes that if there had been a barrier, like a pool fence between the home and the pool, that would have saved his two children, Joshua and Christian. And so what he does is he learned how to install pool fencing himself, which is actually really cool. He came over to Delray Beach. He took the classes. He practiced. He calls my brother, who is a master pool fence installer, all the time for advice. And he figured it out so that he can go out and install pool fences for families in need, families who have experienced some kind of drowning tragedy, and just anybody who wants a pool fence. So, in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Naples area over there.
Yeah, and he's so knowledgeable, and of course his passion, and definitely Christian and Josh are the two twins. I know because of his hard work, they are saving a lot of lives, and we love what Lifesaver Pool Fence means, and also what he does. And I know he got some funding from a donation that we have, and we have tried to have the Department of Children and Families or other agencies that work with families that have had maybe a little bit of a history to see if there is a way for Paul to install an alarm for free, really a fence for free. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. He's just wonderful and very blessed that he's so close to us, and we do a vigil to remember the twin boys the second Friday of every January. We do a vigil here in Naples, and also we remember the children that have drowned in Collier County. But it's more, for the two, for Josh and Christian.
And I know his bike event too is coming up. I don't know.
It was already. It happened.
It already happened.
Yes, December 19, where he raffled the bike, and a very lucky person got the beautiful custom bike.
I think he's doing it again. There's another one coming. I think it's in June. I know because I bought a lot of raffle tickets, so I'm excited. I think I have a good shot, which is hilarious because there's no way I can ride a motorcycle. But I've still bought 10 tickets because I thought it was, I think I bought 20 tickets. It was.
Oh wow!
Yeah, just because I love Paul and. Everything he does, and I thought it'd be funny if I won because I'd probably piss people off. It'd be great. Like, he can't even ride the bike. What's he doing? It's ridiculous. It is a gorgeous bike, though. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
My roommate is big into riding motorcycles, so if I win it, she will probably end up getting the bike. So that would be cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So, tell me, kind of the history of where you came from. The course that led you to what you're doing now, what kind of drew you to the sector that you've ended up in, and kind of, your mini, 3-minute life history.
Okay. Yes. As you can tell, I'm not from the United States. I'm from Bogota, Colombia.
What? I thought you were clearly Australian.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Bogota, Colombia. And then in 1996, I decided to come to the United States just to learn English, which I'm still trying to do. And only for a year, I was studying psychology in Colombia. And then I met somebody, and then, I'm still here. I was very fortunate that I was able to transfer all my credits, and I was able to finish my bachelor's degree in psychology here in Southwest Florida. In 1999, I started working in public health for the Department of Health here in Collier County, and I was running the tobacco prevention program, which it was very successful of the tobacco settlement Florida received.
So yes. your degree was in psychology, right?
In psychology, yep.
So how did you make the jump from psychology to public health?
I know that is a very interesting. When I started working in the local mental health organization here in Naples, doing substance abuse and anger management and running some youth groups. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy it, but it was something for me that was pushing me to do more prevention, that I wanted to do more towards prevention. And I got involved with the Tobacco Free Partnership Coalition. Okay. And that is where I kind of got, directed to public health. The person who was running the tobacco prevention program retired, and I took his job. And then the beauty about the public health is that, I was coordinator of the tobacco prevention program, but our job in public health changed depending on the public health emergency. Like we were doing a lot of hurricane preparedness, and which, and also we always knew about drowning, but the Department of Health in Tallahassee was doing some project. But in 2009, after H1N1 was over, the Department of Health director said, Paula, let's figure out what was happening, because we had 2 drowning deaths in Marco Island within 3 months apart. And what I did was, after H1N1 was over in 2010, in the spring of 2010, we created a task force to see what was being done in Collier County. Because one of the things that we always said is that we didn't want to duplicate initiatives or programs. And that is why we kind of create the call to action to get, the agencies together, like the YMCAs, Parks and Recreation, the Fire Department, EMS, and the 2 hospitals. And after meeting for a couple times, we realized that there were wonderful programs to teach children how to swim, but it was not a countywide initiative. And that is the reason why we decided to form the coalition. And we got together with Kim Burgess when she was in Broward, leading the task force for drowning prevention in Broward. And also she talked to us about NDPA. Mm-hmm. And then from the beginning, we said, let's see what it has been done with a great success in other communities. Let's don't reinvent the wheel. Let's see what it will has worked in other communities and bring it to Collier and see if it works. We went to Broward many times, and then they came to Naples many times. But one of the other things that we said was we wanted to be data driven. We did not want to just to say, we have a drowning issue and let's do these programs. We said, let's figure out who are the children who are drowning in the locations of the county, to try to be more targeting and hopefully prevent these horrible tragedies. We created a wonderful partnership with the medical examiner, and also because I was working for the Department of Health, I had the access of vital statistics data. But we thought that we needed to have different sources for data, and that is why we work with the medical examiner. And I spent in 2010 maybe like 3 months in their office going through all the files of these cases. And it was not just drowning.
Just trying to determine what caused them, or what were you looking for?
Yeah, what caused them, and kind of get to like information where the Hispanics, where they were residential pools, they were in a pool party. But also it was 5 and under, where all 5 and under children that have died in Collier County.
So what kind of did you, when you did that, was there anything surprising that came from that?
Like one of the things that we were completely surprised, and then we asked 18 and under for all the data for the Science 2000. We were completely surprised that under the age of 18, the leading cause of death according to the medical examiner, was what it used to be SIDS. Now it's called SUID, Sudden Unexpected Infant Death Syndrome. That was something that we were completely surprised. We were not even aware that the number was that high. And then we found out that across the state and the nation the numbers are very high.
Wow. So does Collier County have a disproportionate number of SIDS deaths?
No, it's very similar what you see around the state and the nation. I feel that, those deaths, you don't hear too much about those in the media.
Right.
And a lot of times, because of the investigations from the medical examiner and also the law enforcement, they are realizing that a lot of times these deaths are related to suffocation and asphyxia. There are still some that they are undetermined. That is not a reason why this baby died, but the majority of the times are related to asphyxia, unsafe sleep practices, that the babies are sleeping in their tummies with blankets or co-sleeping with their, parents.
So for anybody who doesn't know, can you explain what SIDS is and kind of maybe how it, obviously we don't know fully how it's caused all the time, but some background info on SIDS?
Yeah, and again, like I said to you before, that is the leading cause of death of children under the age of 18 here in Collier County. And I will say, if you look at the Department of Children's Family or Charts data, you will see that is also a very high number for babies that die during sleep. And most of the times, these deaths, what we have seen is that are related because the babies are not able to breathe.
So is it children under 18 years or 18 months?
18 years.
Okay, wow. Okay.
The three leading causes here in Collier County are suicides, drowning, and then motor vehicle accidents, and then overdose, and the other ones that you will think, that are related. I mean, the two leading causes here in Collier County, according to the medical examiner, are the suicides and the drowning. However, not all the deaths go to the medical examiner. I don't know if people are aware that the only cases that go to the medical examiner are the ones when the investigators or the doctors doesn't feel comfortable to, especially the doctors. A lot of the natural cases, like cancer related, do not go to the medical examiner. This is the ones that go, especially the natural cases, are related when the doctors don't feel comfortable to sign the death certificate. But all injury, accidental, go to the medical examiners.
So it was SIDS, SIDS, and now it's SUIDS. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a sudden unexpected infant death syndrome.
Unexpected.
Is the name. Yes, okay. Unexpected. But the CDC and all the experts around the nation, the recommendation is that the babies should always sleep by themselves, facing up. No blankets or baby bumpers or anything that is going to block for them to be able to breathe. There's still, like you said, in some cases, still no reason why babies die, because a lot of times we, when I know when we were babies, we were face down. That is what the protocol was. But that changed, and since that changed, the deaths of death has come down because now the babies are facing up. However, the suffocation deaths are increasing because a lot of parents are sleeping with their babies, and babies are going to sleep longer next to the mom, but it's not the safest way, because, the moms or the parents are going to fall asleep deeply because they are going to be super tired, and you don't know if you're going to be roll over the baby. That is the safest place, is the baby by itself in a crib or pack and play, with no blankets and no stuffed animals. And but yes, and then drowning.
I was going to say real quick. Yeah, I mean, I know that everyone I know who has a baby is terrified of SIDS because it is sudden and unexpected, and it just kind of happens, right? My brother had a boy about a year and a half ago, and yeah, he admitted that he was scared the crap out of him, that his baby could just die in the middle of the night for no reason. He found himself listening to the breathing monitor just to make sure he's breathing all the time, because you hear these stories, and and the protocol for it goes against the what you think you should do for a baby, right? You think you should give it pillows and blankets and make sure it's comfortable and all snuggled up in a a nice, happy, safe environment. So, it doesn't, common sense doesn't dictate what the actual protocol is. So it's probably hard for some people.
And that is why it's, research in what the investigations are learning is definitely what is saving children's lives. Like the same thing with drowning prevention. Now we know that the multiple layers is what is going to help a family to go through this tragedy. Before, we didn't know that. Like when I was doing tobacco prevention, for me it was like, let's teach children how to swim, and right. Kind of that's it. But that is not enough, as we all know.
Sure.
And I think that is what is important about the research and the continued research, and follow what the experts, recommend.
Do you have children yourself?
Yes, I have two. I have a 13-year-old girl and a 10-year-old boy.
Does
yes.
I was gonna say, does all the stuff you learn make you extra paranoid about your kids?
Oh yeah, completely. Yes, like I think my friends don't like me to come around, especially when we have a pool party, because I'm not. I'm always paranoid. And my daughter, when she was 3, she almost drowned.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know nothing about, water safety. She almost knew how to swim. She had the water wings, which we know is the worst invention. Right. And we were in a pool party. I was chasing my son, who was 1 at that time. I was not watching my daughter because I was like, she almost know how to swim, and she has water wings. She got out of the pool, removed the water wings because she wanted to eat something, forgot that she had the water wings, that she didn't have the water wings, and jumped to the deep end of the pool. And if it wasn't for another adult that was walking at the moment, it's just every time that I think about it, that shows you how quick and how easy, it can happen. And that is why we need to continue to educate the families about the layers of protection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think people realize how fast it can happen, and that it's quiet, and that it doesn't look like it does in movies. And, there's all these misconceptions about drowning that, are propagated by the media through movies and TV, and just through what people think it would look like. And it's interesting that drowning doesn't get the same amount of media coverage as a lot of other things do, despite the high death numbers that come from it. It's kind of
that is always my question. It's like, why? It's because maybe we don't have the big lobbyists. What is it? Why, this year reported 82 deaths. So far, 35 deaths in Florida has been reported by DCF. And we hear once in a while, but no, we do not hear it like it should be.
Right. I mean, if it was a new disease like an H1N1, right?
Oh yeah.
Killed 35 kids this year in Florida.
Yeah.
It would be all we'd hear about, right?
Yes. Or like the babies, which is tragedies, the babies that are left inside cars.
Right.
Yes, we had those tragedies, but I don't know what is the number, but I believe what I saw recently has been 7 in the entire nation. And I don't know how many drownings we have had so far in the entire nation, but at least in Florida has been already 35.
Yeah.
It's just the numbers are just, and that is something that maybe one day we will get more lobbyists and more people to talk more about it in the public.
I think one of the reasons why like the pediatric vehicular heat stroke deaths get more attention than drownings is because they are more rare, so that makes them more newsworthy, right? They're special. That doesn't happen every day. So it's kind of a weird catch-22 that because so many children do drown, it gets less news coverage. It's a strange conundrum. And by the way, with infant car seat deaths, I think about them a lot, actually. And I've decided that I think that the correct solution for them, nobody is doing it. And I think the right thing to do is implement a technology, not that reminds the parent, which is what everything has been geared for right now, but instead rolls the window down in the car. If you roll the window down in the car, you bring the car to the ambient temperature of outside, and then also set off a car alarm. So roll the window down and then set the car alarm off, hopefully like a different noise so people know. I think that would fix the problem. I really do. I think if there was a technology that, instead of trying to ring somebody's cell phone or, remind the mom to check the back seat, I think instead if it was a temperature sensor, and if it got to a certain level, the windows rolled down, I think that would probably be a better solution. And I'm not sure anybody else is doing that yet.
No, I have not heard. Yes.
But I wanted to say Stephanie Marie Robertson. Do you know her, Stephanie Marie Robertson?
I most likely, I bet I do if I see her face. Yes.
Yeah, she's with Nathan's Water Wings. She wanted to let you know that in New Jersey, all minors go automatically to the medical examiner, regardless of religion or accident. And she also says that on TV in New Jersey, they're getting a lot more involved with drowning and showing and talking about it on the news, but still not as much as possible. And she said that when her son Nathan drowned, that he was a breaking news story on every station. So that's probably good and bad. But so I guess up in the Northeast, they're getting better about
it. Is I drove to Massachusetts 2 years ago, and when we were going through New Jersey and also to New York, the toll booths, they had a drowning prevention poster.
Wow.
I think that, which I was like, I took a picture and I said, look at how awesome is this marketing, because everybody has to stop, and most likely it's going to be a line for you to pay the toll booth. And everybody had to read that. It was amazing. Definitely you can tell that the Northeast is doing wonderful things. And of course, we know like the SAC Foundation, Stu Lerner, Stu with the Dog, they are wonderful organizations. The Northeast doing amazing things.
So why were you driving up to Massachusetts?
My family-in-law. No,
gotcha.
I'm in Colombia family. My husband's family is from Massachusetts.
That is a long drive.
Yeah, it was a long drive. Yeah, it was the first time, and I don't know if we are going to do it again. It was fun for the kids.
I was going to say, especially with 2 kids.
Yeah.
So the NCH, Self and Healthy Children's Coalition. Did I get it right that time?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, you got it right. Yes.
What does NCH stand for?
NCH is the local hospital, is the NCH healthcare system.
Got it.
When we started the coalition, like Safe Kids is usually led by hospitals. We decided that the coalition should be led by a hospital. And we had the 2 hospitals involved, Physicians Regional and NCH. But NCH said that they would be happy to take the lead. And Physicians Regional said, we are happy that NCH takes the lead. And we still have them in our board, because if a real coalition has to have everyone represented from the county, and we have been done it like that. But going back, yes, we started the coalition in 2010. We saw the data from the medical examiner. We met with the Broward Task Force for Drowning Prevention. Mm-hmm. They actually came in the September 2010. We did like a call to action meeting where we had county commissioners, school board members, and physicians. And we said, okay, we have a problem with drowning prevention. This is the numbers. This is the children that are drowning in our community. It's 100% preventable, but we need a community to be behind. And that is when the coalition was formed. And Kim Burgess, she shared with us their strategic plan. And we kind of took some of their ideas and started implementing it, things that we knew that was going to be easy, knowing that in the future we wanted to implement more programs. The first program that we implemented was the Water Smart Baby booklets with the pediatricians. Joe DiMaggio Hospital from Broward, they give us the InDesign file, and then we just edit it with information locally. And we had one of our champions, Dr. Todd Vetter, a local pediatrician, was the one that helped us to get to all the pediatricians in town. The other thing was raising funds, because we knew that we wanted to have an executive director. And we were able to raise funds through different grants and fundraising events. And I was hired in 2011 to be the executive director. And also we had enough funds to do Swim Central, which is a program formed in Broward where they take children, more kinder and first graders, to an aquatic facility for 10 days. Wow. For us, we approach our school district, but our school district, the kids didn't have a block scheduling, and we don't have that many pools like Broward does. That means we decided to go to the younger kids, to the preschoolers, 3 and up, which are the age closer to the children who are drowning. And as of today, we have taught more than 5,500 children how to swim through Swim Central. The Naples Children Education Foundation, who are the founders of the Winter Wine Festival, one of the most successful fundraisers in the world, they give us money every year to do around 1,100 children.
Wow.
To do Swim Central. Another.
That's really cool. So to back up a little bit, I thought it was neat. So you were involved with the coalition before you were directing it, right?
Yes, I was one of the founders with a couple of the local physicians and EMS and fire department. And then when we had enough funding, I decided that was going to be my new passion about drowning.
So you kind of made your own job.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did. I was very, very fortunate, but it was, I will tell you that the success of the coalition has been the collaboration of so many agencies working together, and always, to be from the beginning. If you have one agency, you have to have the other one. Like in the case of the hospital, the lead agency is NCH, but NCH is completely fine for us to have a representative from Physicians Regional, and also to be data driven. Yes.
So does NCH stand for something Children's Hospital, or is it?
No, it's NCH Healthcare System. It used to be Naples Community Hospital.
There it is. Okay.
Yes, but now it's NCH Healthcare System, but it's NCH Safe and Healthy Children's Coalition. NCH is the only place that is a birthplace, and they have a pediatric ER in a pediatric intensive care unit. That means NCH definitely sees the value to hopefully prevent children to go to the hospital.
So you've talked a lot about being data driven. Is that kind of the model you guys follow, or is there a set system you guys do to run the coalition?
Yeah, yes, like every January we get the data from the medical examiner. And one of the new things that we just did was we asked the sheriff's office and the medical examiner to go back to 2012 and tell us if there were any reports in those cases, if CPR was performed or not on scene, and who performed CPR, if it was the parents or the caretakers, or it was the first responders, because we just want to see, if CPR could have done anything different with the outcome. But like one of the things that I was not aware, and I'm Hispanic, I was not aware that minority kids, don't know how to swim. That was something that through the data, I was able to find out, and I was completely surprised. And then we realized that one of our only local high schools that across the street has a community pool, because none of our high schools have a community pool, pools in their campuses. And they don't teach the kids how to swim in the schools because they don't have the pools. That high school is in a minority migrant community. That high school is the only one that the kids can walk to a community pool. They don't have a swimming team. And 80% of the kids are Hispanics. And we had a drowning of 2 Hispanic brothers in 2011. They were fishing in Everglades City, and the net got caught in a rock, and one of the brothers jumped to get the net and start drowning, and the other one jumped and tried to save him. The 2 of them drowned. And that is the reason with the data, we Swim Central, we only concentrate in the areas where the highest rate of drownings are happening. And a lot of them are in minority, low-income communities.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And I think you're right that a lot of people don't realize, how disproportionately drowning affects minorities across the board. Hispanics, African Americans. It's seriously a problem. And I think, like you said, a lot of it is not access to pools. I think there's a bunch of factors, but if you know it, you can't address it until you know it, right? And so that data is obviously crucial. Yeah.
Like for us, it's no lack of access, because we had that school that has that community pool.
Right.
So we have River Park Aquatics is in the middle of Naples, but it's around to a Section 8 housing with a lot of African Americans and Hispanics live. Most of these families don't use the pool. The pool is there and the pool is free, but they are not using it. It's a lot of factors that I know a lot of universities have done a great job about African Americans, but about Hispanics is not that much research out there. And that is something that I have expressed an interest, and I had talked with different universities, and we will see, what it could happen, because here in Naples, Florida, the minority kids that are drowning are the Hispanics, because again, that is our big minority group is Hispanics.
So was there any other data that was surprising to you?
The other one was the location, the number one location where the drownings happened were residential pools. The second location were related to motor vehicle accidents going to a canal. That was something that we knew that was high. And again, this is 18 and under. And because of that, we partnered with Dr. Gordon Ginsberg. He's a world expert in Manitoba University in Canada. And we did a submerged vehicle exercise with our first responders back in 2013. In ABC News, the Nightly News, and Diane Sawyer team came and covered the story. And now we know what is the protocol to get out of a vehicle. And every time that we do a presentation, we now include that. Because before, we had a mom and 2 daughters driving Alligator Alley, and she got in a car accident. The car went to a canal in an area where it was no offense. And the 3 of them died. And the reasons for them was drowning. After that incident, that is when the coalition said, we need to do something, because I didn't know what was the protocol. You always hear you need to let the car fill with water, and that way you're able to open the windows, which is a completely false, and it's a myth. And the protocol is that you need to get your seatbelts out, roll the window, break the window, get the children out, and then call 911. Never call 911 when you are in the situation, because you're wasting your time. And another case that it was kind of similar was in 2014, the Friday before 4th of July, we had a drowning dead in the only lake that people can swim. And it was a Hispanic family. After a barbecue, the little girl was left by herself where the parents were cleaning. And there were a couple boats, and the waves got the little girl to the water, and she unfortunately drowned. We did like a call to action meeting, and that is we do that a lot. Call to action meeting when a tragedy like that happens, and then we said, okay, that lake is not going to have lifeguards 24/7. The lifeguards have left. What we could have done, could have prevented, of course, education, continue education, but then we said life jackets. And we started looking all around the nation, and then we found that Alaska has a program that is called Kids Don't Float, Life Jackets Do. And that is more for boat related, for the children and the parents to wear life jackets in the boats. We contact them, and then they give us all the graphics, and we ask, can we use the same name? And we did. The graphics, we just added palm trees, because of course Alaska doesn't have the palm trees. And then we implemented it now, 15 of these life jackets loaner stations. And the U.S. Coast Guard auxiliaries are the ones who volunteer the time every week to check the condition of the life jackets. And we see like people tag us through hashtags, and we see the life jackets being used, all the time. And we replace them every 7 months, because they are 24/7 under the sun. But that is another layer now that we have implemented, and was due because of the drowning death of this little girl in the lake. And then none of our beaches have lifeguards, and they are never going to have lifeguards, what we have been told. At least now the public beaches now have the life jackets loaner stations.
So do you know Jerry Dworkin?
Jerry
Dworkin, he heads up life-saving resources, and he does a lot of ice rescue training and water training simulations for paramedics and firefighters. He teaches them how to, rescue somebody in a river, or, if they fall through the ice and that kind of thing. I had him on. He was my second guest, actually, ever on the show.
Okay, and to listen.
You should, but you should, because he had this really interesting data about people who are drowning in cars. And new cars have a different kind of laminated window that you can't break open. Not only can you not break it open, but paramedics and firefighters can't break it open either. They have to use a saw to cut it open. So it was. Yeah, we used to. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we used to. The whole thing to break open the window, and those don't work anymore. Yeah, the Rescue Me tools, and we stopped doing those or selling them or telling people, because for that reason, in 2014, some of the car manufacturers, especially the luxury cars, changed the windows. And like you said, a lot of first responders are not able to break them. Right. I have been told, however, I have not seen any data or anything that says it, but I have been told that the car manufacturers are going back to the old windows. However, I have not seen
anything in writing. And when we do a presentation, we always say we do that disclaimer.
Right.
We said, we don't know if these tools, especially the Rescue Me tool is the one that we recommend. We don't know if it's going to work if your car has the new windows.
Right. And that,
but I would love to talk to him. Yes, I would love to, because I have been told that that the cars that went to the laminated windows now are going back because the first responders, I guess, around the nation have said that they are not able now to save people in a car accidents because they are not able to get them through the windows.
Right. And it's hard to even, they can't even break. There's no way to break the window. Even if they had, something heavy or hard, they literally have to saw the window open because the windows now are, protected, which I think it was done for impact resistance and to make, car accidents safer, but a side effect of that is, if a car goes underwater, that's it,
Or if the car is on fire, you cannot get the first responders cannot get them out. It's just,
I didn't think of that. Wow.
But I will be definitely, I'm going to reach out to him because maybe he has more information about that. Because yes, we have heard about, the laminated windows in the issue of not being able to break it.
Right. And, underwater, you can't use an electric saw, so that it has to be a manual saw to saw it open, a big problem. And I'm glad to hear, I didn't know that they were going to go back. That's exciting.
That is what like I said to you, I have not
just a rumor.
Official word of mouth, like the tone company that allow us to use the car that we use to the submerged vehicle exercise that we did with Dr. Ginsberg. He goes to a lot of national conventions, and he was the one who told me about it, that he have heard some of these national conventions that the manufacturers were going back to that, but he has not able to find nothing in writing, and the same thing I have not. That would be maybe, something in the summer, a research that we can try to figure out.
Right.
Yes.
So what other events and programs are you guys doing?
Like we have, we follow what, NDPA says, the layers of protection, that no one, layer is going to save a family for going through this horrible tragedy. And that is what, we do the water watchers, and every time that we pull safely, which are wonderful organization, we order those water watches for free and every time we provide information about it. Yes.
A little bit of trivia. Lifesaver, specifically my dad, coined the term layers of protection in 1987 when it came to water safety. He wrote a book called Summertime Fun, Year-Round Danger, how to use layers of protection to protect your pool. And that was the first time that layers of protection was ever used in print. And he said it in person at a meeting with the Consumer Product Safety Commission and the Broward County Health Department in the mid 80s. And that's where it came from.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, kind of cool, right?
Which year was that? Yes. Which year was that?
He said it first in 1987 and then wrote it in 1989. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for that. And thank you to your dad for doing that. Because it makes a lot of sense. It's just, and that is what, we always try to say to families, even that your child knows how to swim, they can still drown because they can hit their head. It's just, they shouldn't be unsupervised in the pool. It's so many things, and it's layers of protection. But thank you.
And at the time, the reason kind of he came up with it, the idea was because everyone is arguing. Instead of, implementing multiple layers, right? The people who did swim lessons were saying that was the solution. The people with alarms thought the alarms were the best solution. The fence people thought the fence was the best solution. And instead of, trying to compete with all these different ideas, he said, well, maybe you get them all, maybe you do everything.
Yeah.
And,
but it makes sense, it's just, it provides time when a child is missing those layers, and those layers maybe are not going to work because maybe the battery of the alarm is not going to work, or the door knock maybe was open, and then the kids are going to be climbing the fence. But if you have all these layers, and also to teach kids, that is one of the things that we always, our programs, everything we talk about, never swim alone. The children are very good to understand the seatbelt. My children will not allow me to start the car if they don't have their seatbelt, which is great. but we should have the same effect with the children about never swim alone. They should understand, like they do with seatbelts, that they should never go by a body of water by themselves.
And I love that the new law in California implements layers of protection. I don't know if you know that, but the new law in California gives you 7 options, and you have to choose 2 of them.
2 of them.
To get your
Where
pool
in Florida,
certified.
And they went back to that in Florida 2 years ago, which I was not aware that happened.
Yeah, July.
It was a complete surprise.
Yeah, July of last year. They now allow people to use a floating pool alarm.
No alarm. It's just
It's
we met with our local legislator, Catalina Pacidomo. We met with Paul DeMel and our fire chief and the person from the department. How we all met with her and asked her what happened, and she explained that what she heard was from people, seniors, people that have grandkids, that why they needed to spend money from devices that they were going to remove after the inspection was done.
Wow.
And then Paul said, my children drowned in the grandparents' pool. I mean, you never know, even if you don't have, children, maybe your grandchildren or great-grandchildren are going to be visiting you, and it could take only the first time, as we all know. Very simple. Hopefully Florida can lead, can follow what California did.
Yeah, I remember when I learned about that change, because I didn't know about it either. Paul was one of the first people I called. Yeah. And he couldn't believe that, we live and breathe pool safety in Florida.
Yeah. And we never heard about it.
And we never, if we didn't know about it, then nobody did.
And that is what I said to her. I said, but why? And she said that she would have liked, to hear from people like us. Mm-hmm. And we're like, but nobody knew about it. Nobody, just kind of
I was told that it kind of slipped in at the last minute, and people had 24 hours to respond, and it was very, I'm still not 100% sure exactly, what the story was about how it progressed.
Me neither.
But I know it's bad, and I know that, the law was great in 2001. It was perfect. It required a 4-sided barrier to isolate the pool from the home. It had to have a self-closing, self-latching gate. It had to be 4 feet tall. And then slowly over time, the law has been eroded. So first they took the gate away, where you didn't have to have a gate anymore. And then they said, instead of a gate, you could have door and window alarms, but they had to be hardwired. So they had to be, wired into the electrical system of the house. So you couldn't turn them off, which that's
plus it makes sense. Right, so expensive and
exactly. So people mostly still got a pool fence. And then they said that you could have the door and window alarms, but battery. That became the new option. And so it's not great, but still at least prevention, right? The alarm goes off before you get to the pool. And now the new, the new thing, each time I'm sad the law is getting worse, but this is the worst one.
No. And the thing is
now the kid's drowning before the alarm goes off.
And we lead the nation. It's just like, and we said that to her, and I said, why do we want to have that title in Florida?
Yeah.
And it's preventable, and I'm glad that the Water Smart Florida is, Scott from the YMCA Alliance is heading up, and I'm part of that, task force group, and Liz, and so many KC, so many people, experts around the Florida, I'm so excited. At least I feel that we see a light coming up.
We need to get that law put back, at least how it was a year ago, But that law in Florida is disgraceful, especially, our law was so good that all of the other states around the country copied our law. And now if they copied it, I'd be embarrassed. It'd be bad.
It's just, it's just like, but maybe that will be something that maybe we can together, because, no one person can do it,
Sure.
Just together, different people around the state can do it. The new president from Kiwanis, that is going to be the president from the state of Florida, he lives here in Collier County. He used to be in our coalition board. I asked him, I said, can you guys take drowning as one of the goals in your year that you're going to be a president? They have every child is a swimmer, the Kiwanis do. And it looks like they're going to do that. They have their conference in August. And they have Kiwanians in every part of Florida, and of course in the United States and the nation too. But maybe that would be something that we can say to them, can you help us, maybe to to figure out, for the legislators in Florida to pass, stronger law that talks about the layers of protection, similar what California did last year.
Yeah, California nailed it, and I know that was because of Nadine Rigsby and Marcia Kerr and all the other people out there that worked on that law. Marianne Downing, who I'm a giant fan of. I love her. She's great. All those people did a phenomenal job out there, and we need that law out here. It's the best law in the country so far. By a long shot.
It just, for me, it's like, why do you don't see the numbers? It's just, that is why it's so surprising that we can reduce those numbers if we have the law in implementing, also education, but the law, we just have to, because like when I had my children later, I was not aware about the drowning rates, and I didn't know about that you had to have the baby fence, and we didn't have a pool. But some of my friends that had the pool didn't have none of these layers. And because people are not aware, unfortunately, because it's not, you hear in the media the drowning deaths, but it's not, hopefully it's getting better with the education that some organizations, around the state is doing.
I mean, if you saw a baby, not in a car seat, you would freak out, right? And anybody would be like, you're a terrible parent. How would you do that? That's awful. Yeah. But if you see a pool without a fence, you don't have the same reaction.
No,
right?
reaction. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's you who has said a pool. Somebody has said that you don't own a car without a seatbelt.
Yeah.
You should not own a pool without a fence.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years. Because it makes sense, right?
Yes,
especially because more kids drown in pools than die in motor vehicle accidents.
I know.
So the pool is actually even more dangerous,
Dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
And kudos to the motor vehicle, industry and Safe Kids. They have done a great job with the seatbelts and the car seats. Definitely, what they're doing is working. But guess what? Drowning continues leading, the leading cause of death for children ages 1 to 4.
Yeah, I mean that's the big one. So I would like to see them implement that. Where the windows roll down when it gets too hot in the car. I think that would help.
Yeah, okay.
So what else? I distracted you. What else is the coalition up to?
Yeah, one of the things that we did, and we still are very proud, is that in 2014, we broke the Guinness World Record for the largest swimming lesson in a single venue.
That's cool.
It was the worst day of my life. We had 1,308 children, most of them were children, in the water park.
Wow.
Paul DeMel participated, and it was so awesome because the world largest swimming, we were communicating with them the entire day because they knew that we were trying to break the Guinness World Record for the single venue. Yeah. And when we told them, this is the total number of people that we had. Of course, we needed to send all the paperwork and all the witnesses paperwork. And the process was a nightmare, and not really, but it was very interesting, and we learned a lot. Like, we had to have a helicopter. The sheriff's office helicopter had to take aerial pictures of the water park. We had to send that to the world largest swimming, for them to send that to the Guinness World Record. But on that afternoon at 5 p.m., they were getting ready to release a press release nationwide saying that it looks like Sun Funnel Lagoon, that is the water park, that we broke the Guinness World Record. And they asked me to send pictures, and I sent couple. We have professional photographers, and I sent one from Paul DeMel, and I saw that he just commented. And it was Paul teaching, because he was teaching swimming. It was just amazing. The picture is just beautiful, Paul teaching Alman to other instructors and other kids. It was just a beautiful day, definitely a nightmare of a day, because we were treating all the kids that didn't know how to swim, because we didn't know we were not going to be able to do an assessment. But we had over 300 volunteers, over 50 agencies involved, and we still hold the record. And I don't think nobody's going to be that crazy to try to break it. One of the new things that we just started was a year and a half ago was having a Stewie the duck. We purchased the costume, and now Stewie goes all around our schools and preschools, and their response has been fascinated. The kids love Stewie and the simple messages that Stewie tells in the 2 books that they have. And also the free app is just, I feel that now the kids are getting the message in preschool, the parents, when they go to the pediatrician, it's just, and again, we don't know where the message is going to definitely sink in people's heads, when families, because again, it happened to me and it happened to so many families that don't know, always thinks that is not going to happen to you. And I feel that is what yes.
I love Stewie the Duck. Stewie the Duck is great.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it would be wrong if I said that Stewie the Duck was my favorite, but he might be my favorite.
They are awesome. And Josh, they are always awesome.
Right,
they are wonderful. And the thing is, the kids understand, and they get the message because it's simple and understandable. The life jacket, they never swim alone, swimming with an adult. It's definitely a reinforce of what we keep saying, but in a fun, easy way to understand and learn it.
Absolutely. Yes. And anything else you guys are up to?
No.
That's it?
No,
that's a lot.
Like tomorrow we have one of the Parks and Recreation pools are hosting a free water safety day. And that is part of the International Water Safety Celebration that it happened May 15. We had all the public schools and all their agencies at least doing something or wearing the sticker. There are a lot of things that I always say to new organizations when they're starting. It's a lot of things that you can do that doesn't even require money, like ask the county or the city to proclaim May as water safety. I always give copy of the sample of the proclamation that we use the verbiage. The water safety booklet, the water smart baby booklets, that was something that it was very easy to do. And I will be more than happy, if anyone that is listening, I will be more than happy to send you the InDesign file that you can add the local information. And as a sponsor, we love to pay for that because the logo is in the back. And then if you can get 1 or 2 pediatricians leading them, that is for me is a powerful program, because the pediatricians are telling their moms and the dads, okay, do you have a pool fence? Do you have an alarm? Do your children know how to swim? They are the ones, and sometimes we believe more what the pediatricians, and it should be, the doctors have a powerful, message that sometimes the parents will listen more to them than to any other people.
So, what advice would you give to someone, say somewhere else, New York, California, Texas, looking to start a coalition like you did? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, I will say, one, definitely call as many partners as you can. Have them involved from the beginning. I think that is one of the things that it helped us tremendously, was that we had the 2 hospitals, the first responders, EMS, fire department, the sheriff's office, the YMCA, Parks and Recreation. We had them all involved. Because for me, they are the experts. I'm not the expert. They are the experts. They are the ones that respond. They are the ones that teach the families. But from the beginning, we said we have to have them all in the table. And then the data driven, because, for example, we don't have we haven't had, in a knock wood, we haven't had a death in the Gulf of Mexico of a child. We don't have the rip current situation like in the East Coast does. And we talk about rip current because when the families go in for vacationing to the other coast or to Cancun or to other places where rip current happens, we want our families to understand what to do. But we are not going to concentrate it too much in that here locally, because our drownings happen in residential pools. We have had a lot of them visitors, people that come and rent homes. They are not used to it, like from Chicago, that don't have a pool in their apartments or in their no apartment buildings or the homes, and they come here and they don't understand the layers of protection. Now, because we know that some of those deaths happen in tourists, now we are working with the Tourist Bureau in some of the rental communities and things like that. But I will say, one is to get the agencies involved from the beginning, and also the data. And then look for best practices out there. It's wonderful organizations and coalitions doing amazing things. Just ask around, like we did with Broward. And also attend the NDPA conference. Every time that I go, I always learn or connect to somebody that is going to help us to bring a new initiative in Collier County. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are wonderful things that can maybe meet the needs of your community. I will say you are not by yourself, through NDPA, the Diversity and Equality. There's so many organizations out there that are doing amazing things that they will be more than happy to help you to start anything. And the other thing is you always give credit. That is my biggest, no concern, but I always, when we do an event, we always tag them in our social media. In the flyer, we always use their logo with their permission. But they always, and sometimes we have like 40 logos in an event, but those are without them, the event will not exist.
Right.
And also do a strategic planning every year. We do it every year to see what we need to change and also what the data is telling us. But it's doable. Like I said, my background, it was in psychology, then in public health towards tobacco prevention. It was no drowning prevention, but because I partner and I asked help from experts, now we were able to implement wonderful programs and I was saying we haven't created nothing new. It has been everything other communities have implemented with a great success.
I mean, that's a great idea. Why, like you said, why reinvent the wheel? That's perfect. I like that a lot. So, I want to wrap up and let you probably get back to work.
Okay.
So what, if you could leave parents with one piece of advice, to keep their children safe. And we talked about SIDS, we talked about drowning. What's one more thing you want parents to know who might be watching?
I will say that always, look when you buy a new house or right now, when you get to your house, try to see the risk that you have around your house to see if something can create injury. When you travel, do you have a canal or lake or pool? It just always think ahead. Of course, not be paranoid because, we need to allow them to live, but always think about things that you can do and always teach them. Again, they never swim alone and always look the body of water if the children are missing.
That's perfect. I love that. And so where can people get a hold of your organizations? How can they find the coalition?
Yes, we have a website, safehealthychildren.org.
Okay.
Or they can call me directly on my cell phone, 239-537-3436, or info@safehealthychildren.org.
And then obviously the NDPA is ndpa.org. And,
yes,
and you guys
is there.
And both the NDPA and the coalition have a Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. Yes. So they can find you there as well. All right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much. You were awesome. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do, Eric, and Lifesaver Pool Fans. Thank you, because I know you guys are saving many lives. Thank you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. And you have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.